And we're live. And again, I didn't check to see if this mic works. Sorry for this cuteness and the movement and everything that's going to happen. Um, my back is a little better. Last night was horrendous. And that's also partially why I might also be a little out of it. And yeah. Um, all right. So as people are coming in, I don't even know where to start. Today, I have so many little topics. I guess I want to start with acknowledge. Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge the horrible tragedy with the helicopter and the airplane, the jet. And all I want to say about that, because I don't want to get it's just such a story, and other people are doing it so much better than I am. And I don't want to get into that. That is not my expertise. That is not my area. I don't want to get into all the rabbit hole that is, but I just want to acknowledge it, that it happened. And part of me also is thinking about the video that was released too. And I don't know if we needed to see that, as curious as we all are about things. Like when you're driving, um, you see an accident, you're curious. It's human nature, but I think it does something to us internally that I don't know that we need that. I've talked about a study in, I think it was Japan, where how the media presents things can have a huge effect on how things go forward. And um, yeah, I don't know that that was the right choice, because it's just getting a little bit more into that sensationalism, into the wow, into like pulling our attention. I mean, a tragedy is a tragedy. I don't think we should need to see it to know and to feel it in our hearts. So I guess I do want to say that, because that's kind of, you know the psychology of it all that I'm interested in. But yeah, that's really sad news. That's so sad. And it's sad how things are being handled, and what the blame shift is at a time where we don't need the blame right now. This is not a time to point fingers or blame. Because I am getting into it, but that's all I'll say. I just yeah, it's inappropriate time to do that. Anyways, be- as a like in between from such a serious note and a just a heart wrenching piece of news, to the craziness that the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni world has been for us. Which I would say happy news, even though it's not happy for them, and it's really not happy, but because it's so like dramatized right now, is and it's just like it's not even from us, it's from them too. And it's just so there's a lot more levity to that, and it is affecting their lives and people's lives. I think we know the difference. So in between, I also want to mention I watch HGTV, and really my parakeet, I put her to watch HGTV. So my mom, one day that I wasn't here, I'm like, turn her TV on. And I'm like, did you turn it on, the actual TV? Because these smart TVs, they just turn on the main like screen. She's like, yeah, yeah, she's learning how to redecorate a room. I'm like, okay, good. So she doesn't forget. No, but I know that I'm already like laughing, but the in between, really, it's like this in between heartfelt moment that I saw. I don't know if you're familiar with HGTV or the Flipping Houses shows, especially the Tarek and Christina team of Flipping Houses. Were they the first, for anyone who watches? I don't know. It seems like they were the first ones to do this on national television, a show about flipping houses. And they got divorced in 2016, I guess. And she just had, well, not just, but our, on the TV show, she just had a breakup with her current partner. And Tarek and her were talking, and it was just the most beautiful moment that I've seen. They divorced almost 10 years ago, I guess, being 2025. Um, and for them to be, oh my, it was just like the most beautiful, beautiful human moment. I cried. I like just cried, completely cried. Um, yeah, because, like we can see so many conflicts between any type of relationship. I mean, this isn't even a divorce or anything with Justin and Blake, and it's just crazy contentious, and everyone kind of blaming each other more or less, and all this stuff, and the accountability is not yet there. And the pattern with Blake is that it'll never be on her side either. um and to see these two people that went through that and went through so much more than we'll know, and for him and his new wife to be there in support of her through this time, and just like taking accountability is, I don't know, it was just beautiful. So if you have a chance to see it, it's called The Flip Off, and it's Tarek, and Heather is his new wife. Well, not new, they've been together for a few years, I think. And Christina is the other side of the puzzle piece, the show, and they're competing who can flip, who wins in a flip, house flip kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. I can't wait to see more of it. But um, all right, so the internet. I don't know. I think Dave Neal said this today in one of his videos today, and I want to say, because this is a, this has been a conversation um, that's more and more in the past 24 hours. I think 48. Everyone's kind of getting blamed from, especially one particular, and I'm gonna say her name. Everyone's like, I don't even want to say her name anymore, but everyone's pointing the fingers at Candace Owens for just taking ownership of stories that she didn't actually initiate or break, that she kind of even took from other content creators like you and me, and even smaller, that, just like posted something on TikTok or something on Reddit or wherever, and where everyone's taking their information from. I'm doing my own like searches every day, but a lot is also just like YouTubers, one-off YouTubers that like, oh, I had this experience, or oh, I have this idea, or like up and coming, or YouTubers that are really established, like Popcorn Planet, Andy, and now Daily Dose of Donna, and Dave Neal. I Such a huge fan. Oh my gosh. If you watch Dave Neal, put it in the chat. He got 100K subscribers, and I felt literally so proud. My heart like swelled up for him, because I watched him since the Bachelor days. And I don't know. I love his take on things. And I still aspire to be, closer to his take. In my mind, I am, but when I start speaking, I can be a lot more judgmental, or just not as confident, and just all over the place. So he is an amazing, amazing person. So I just like, and I followed him and Tasha, and I don't know. So that was like really emotional. Last night he reached 100K, and that was like, it was just like the best thing. Um and yeah, Maria. And Oh, both Marias. Um so yeah, so this whole thing of like everyone like, oh, people are stealing content. Of course we are. We're not, I mean, and not everything actually, Donna has her inside sources or people that are sending her things. Dave and Andy, I don't have the platform. I don't have, the audience, the people that could send me things. I don't have insiders in Hollywood, like, so I am more on the I kind of counted like three tiers or maybe four even, like the national media, kind of newspapers, CNN, Fox, whatever you watch, and then there's or read, and then there's people like Popcorn Planet, Daily Dose of Dana, and Dave, and a couple of others. I would consider like people like Candace Owens more towards the mainstream media, kind of, because they're a lot more produced and it's more like a show. Um, so yeah, yeah, so like more independent, but still huge content creators are like in that sandwich, and then there's like people like me who have like just a few subscribers here and there, viewers, and we're trying to figure out, and we're just really passionate about this for whatever reason, where whichever side we're on, etc. And we got on here, um or even like subscribers with more people than me, more followers and stuff, that still like are just like, not as like nationally big. And yeah, like what has been beautiful about that has been even seeing, like, even Jersey Flaw, even seeing them interview each other, which I've started feeling like, wow, we're left out because we'll never be on their show, and vice versa, because they're so untouchable. They're not as untouchable as the national media, but still, and how cool. But at the same time, like, we're in this together, and we're all trying to figure out, and we're all trying to put pieces together. And I've actually Jersey Flaw actually interviewed the psychologist. I was one of the people that suggested it to her, and um so like we still communicate, and it's still really cool. And yeah, Candace Owens' content is too strong for me. Yeah. Yeah, like she comes out very strong, which, that's her style, and that's her lane and niche, and she made her an audience that loves that kind of style. Um and yeah, like and also people like her, I'm it's kind of annoying that if she is truly making the narrative that she's the one that's, the center of it, like she's getting every lead and so forth, although she's also leaning towards, the last I checked, towards like the Ryan Reynolds part of things. At least she's not, and I'll talk actually about this. The psychologist, I found out a little bit more, and I went through more of her, that TikTok psychologist. I went through more of her content, and it's just, to me, it's disturbing. And not even just the Justin Blake content, but I love the one video said something like, be careful what you believe out there from what you hear, because they present the facts, but then they like dip into opinions and dip into bias and blah, blah. I'm like, pot calling kettle? Like, what? Um, so yeah, that was like really interesting. But yeah, those people scare me more than, Candace Owens has her opinions, has her different viewpoints on life, on politics, on whatever. Cool. And she can be very strong, and she can be very opinionated, like this is fact and all this stuff. Um, but that happens. As a psychologist, that's different than being just a media person. Yeah, you still affect people's perception, but it's just different, and that, so yeah, anyways, but yeah, still, it's really cool. It feels really cool to like really develop a community. And I think all of the ones that I followed, Donna, Dave, and Andy, talked about how, like, because this is like huge, I guess this is its own story almost. How like they get information from each other, and sometimes they say like, hey, I got it from here. I tend to like put it in the links below. If I forget, and I'm sorry. I wish I could remember everything, and I try my best, but I try to literally reference everyone below, like making a college paper or something. I don't know. I really love that style. Um, or mention it here, I don't know. But, sometimes you get inundated and you don't even remember. I've had moments when I don't even remember who I got it from, where I got it from, because you go into these deep dives and, on the internet, and you get an idea from one place, and then because you're also trying to research, like, how truthful something is, or how, um, well known, I guess, something is. So, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I wanted to talk about that because it's been actually really cool. But yeah, Dave said that, I forget how he said it. He said it best. I think it was the second to last episode. Well, for those that are watching right now, where, like, the internet is basically a massive, and he didn't say it like this, but a massive grid or system of investigators. Because, and he made the analogy, like, if you have a lawyer, a team of lawyers searching for a diamond ring in a 1 acre lot or whatever, it's, one lawyer finding it versus, like, millions, thousands of people that watch this finding it. Someone's going to find it much faster, right? If everyone, it's basically like so crowded that there's no information that escapes, and people remember things or have dealt with things like, oh, I have something, that happened to me, or that I saw, that I witnessed. So that is like awesome, that network and the power of that, yeah, Blake's team does not understand that, doesn't know how to deal with that. I think they're like, basically, I don't know if you've had this happen to you. I've had this happen where, I think I had, like, just a floater kind of in the ocean, and this wave came over me. I was actually too old for this, but I was like 10, 14, somewhere in between there. And this wave came, and it just tumbled me at the end of the, towards this shore, like right at the end of or at the shore. And you can't see anything, and there's like sand, and you don't know which way it's up, and you're just tumbling, and you're, going all over. That's what I feel like Blake's PR team probably feels. Because I think they're used to being so, they have like their procedures, and they have their habits, and then they're like, we put this out to the media outlets, kind of like what I think, it was a documentary, right, on the royal family in England, in Britain. Like, they have no documentary, it was The Crown. But I think it was in The Crown. They have like their direct communication with the media outlets. But now there's the internet, and you can't control us, except they're trying to like control our perception. Everyone's trying to control our perception. And I was thinking about this, even Justin and his team. I don't know Justin, but like, even like Ryan Friedman, the way he phrases things, the way that he chooses what to release and what to include and all the stuff, right? Yes, it's in self-defense, but it's carefully like thought to best put out the thought that he wants to put out. So I still, you can still see. That's why I talk a lot more about like the evidence being the screenshots and everything, rather than the flowery language that they had. But even that, it's like, ooh, well, let us pause, because okay, we don't have exact evidence for everything, and just because they said this in this paragraph doesn't make it so. We need evidence. But considering everything, and also even not consider excuse me, not considering everything, that's pause, that's a moment of pause. Like, should we maybe not jump to believe Blake, or vice versa, whatever. So, um yeah, so kind of lost my my train of thought with that, or right now I did. Um, but yeah, the internet investigators, all of us, yeah, it gets fun. It's kind of like, I Spy, like mystery, who did it mystery kind of thing, that we're all in. And I think also, and because people like Donna, Andy, and Dave are bigger than each of us, but they're accessible still, it makes it feel like we're all in this. We're all what do they call it? Breakout rooms, or I forget what they are. Um, it's kind of like that. We're all figuring it out together. It's teamwork. So it's like how humans are wired and programmed is for this, and how like society is not really developed towards that. It's kind of developed away from that. And yeah, that's why I think this piece of news, I forget so many people don't know about this, but I think that's why for us involved, it's like, oh, I want to know more because we're also actively participating. You don't have to make a video, but I've never commented. I'm not never, but like I commented maybe like two handfuls or hand counts in my life. But now I'm like commenting on videos, on everyone's video that I come across, or in lives, I like put in the chat a few messages. Like yeah, it's pretty cool. And then before I get into this, so we'll talk about Blake's brother-in-law, which actually for me it was like even stronger of a story because I had just like a few days or a week ago or so just saw for the first time Robin Lively's post, initially, and it's her husband, which makes it to me even more like because she has other siblings, but that it's that particular siblings like husband that made it pretty huge. And then the Reddit post that everyone's talking about. And this is all, that's the other thing. Like, we all have our different spins, different takes, different interpretations. And I also think that's kind of what's helping that along too. And the musical composer situation with Taylor Swift, which I haven't heard this from anyone else. Donna found it was so easy to find. But she found who it could be. Two, there were two, and one is really famous, has worked on a lot. And she didn't mention this, but the first thing that I spotted was a direct, pretty similar relationship with Taylor Swift from a previous project, and it ends with us, or like it ends with us. So yeah. And then the motion to dismiss thing, which yeah, they're trying really hard. Colleen Hoover, tiny little bit of Colleen Hoover, and I had a comment about casting directors making the decisions. Like they're the ones that actually hire. I don't know. It was like my video seemed uninformed, and I was really confused why they said that. I really wanted like, okay, like what can I inform myself better? What? How can I say things, what can I research to know better, etc. And it was kind of confusing, but I think the one comment reply to that was about casting directors. And I went down a little tiny research because I was like, I'm pretty sure I know this, but maybe I didn't communicate that right. So yeah, that's like, that's a side note, I guess. I don't know. And then yeah, a little bit on the TikTok psychologist, just because this is such a personal level. Don't mess with people's minds. Don't mess with, like, I mean, where it can actually harm them. This is why this part is like, it's not really a story to do with Blake and Justin, but I include this because I just worry because she's supposed to help people that are in potential harm, and it's yeah, like yeah, anyways. And she has a different authority than you, me, or people who are not psychologists or have that title or anything like that. And then that's kind of it. So um I thought I said something before. Oh yeah, before I get into this, I'll just oh, hope you feel better, Angel. What? Okay, yeah, hope you feel better too. Um, so Maria Rodriguez, she still hasn't provided proof for what she talks about. Candace, um, yeah, I wanted to watch, and honestly, I just couldn't get myself to watch that. Just makes me feel so. Well, one, it was hard to watch anything today. I can't believe that I'm actually opting out more for, like, the written word for, like, articles and things, but, it's just so much, but yeah, with her especially, I don't know, sometimes, like, yeah, like you said, sometimes it's too strong, but I thought allegedly they had women that were going to come out. That's still because Donna said that she got that text yesterday, right? So, but they had said that in Blake Lively's original complaint. They didn't say that they were coming out, but I think, but they in that complaint, but they said that that there were more women, cast and crew, and that never like took place. And Donna had a great point. I don't know if she said this on Andy's or on her own live, but um when if they would have come out, wouldn't it be the time? This is the thing. It would be a great time during the private law, not private lawsuit, private court dates, or it could be like a great time when Blake Lively had all the support from everyone. Not maybe everyone, but Colleen and Brendan. I want to keep calling him Adam. From them, from the Traveling Pants co-star or co-stars, all those people. So it would be safe. However, they might have said, I don't. It's just I might skip into. I was going to talk about this a little later too, but again, Donna had a great point. If and we've said, all of us have said this, to one degree or another. The way that she said it really hit today. But because I think, with this thread of like, oh, we have more people coming out soon, it's like, but that feels convenient. And on top of that, how do we know they're not somewhat enticed to? There's like, and not even saying that it happened or didn't happen, but just the timing of that is off. And then what she said with just even Blake's standalone kind of claims of SH, um, if that happened to you, I think everyone reacts differently. She spoke about how she would react or what she would think, a woman would react like. But I don't know that I would be, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I don't know that I would have the courage to go to officials. But I'm also not Blake Lively. I'm talking about me, Arena, this tiny, you know, haven't acted or haven't, I'm nothing. Um, but because I still feel like, oh, I don't know, will I get fired instead? So it's understandable for smaller actors and all that stuff, but she knows the game. She knows, not the game, but she knows the rules. She knows like the system. She's been part of the system, so I don't think at all. And even if that would be the case, I would never ever imagine me or anyone even having more power if if our boundary was crossed that much, our like personal safety was um like activated, that uncomfortableness of personal safety was activated, you would not use that against someone to take over their movie in this particular way too. Like, why didn't she go to like fire him? I like it all just doesn't make sense. I wonder if it's something other than that. I wonder if it's something that we haven't even heard about. That's what it makes me think of now, because it doesn't make sense to use those allegations, to use that, if that happened, what she alleges happened, that happened, to just use it. And I don't know how much I believe this Reddit post. The Reddit post said that she basically went to Sony and threatened, didn't say with one, but threatened that if she'll go to New York Times if she wouldn't post, if they wouldn't let her have her cut as well. Um, and it's hard to believe, but I don't know. I don't know, and it's kind of, some of those things have been kind of shown through all of this. Um, Again, I guess everyone deals with things in a different way, but if that's the case, I think that's highly unlikely, and I think we can all agree that's immoral. Because as Donna said, you're choosing. She wasn't just choosing her life and her like family and all that stuff. She was choosing her career specifically, and she was using it to get a career advantage and to get her career forward. If this was true, meanwhile, she was leaving this man that she feels did this, let's say, just free and open to do it to anyone else and everyone else. And also, if she knew that there were other cast and crew members, like, it is just impossible that it would like, I don't understand in what scenario that would happen to her and multiple people. And also, who is this guy? I just, it's so hard to wrap my mind around, like, just this guy doing this, like, just so much, like him particularly, especially. But like, he did this, she knew about it, and so she didn't put everyone's safety first like she claimed. She put her career first. Even if she didn't go to Sony and threaten, but she made this list and threatened Justin and Jamie, give me a producer credit because this list, you signed this list. I think that was the timeline. And hey, this list, like, you have to sign this or else I'm not coming back and all this stuff. She didn't care about people, about the other women, if that is the case. She didn't care, even like, she about her own, but she didn't care about other women. So for her to again rope, I stand, like, it's just proving more and more how much I stand behind my own words. My initial reaction to her legal team or public PR team, whoever released that, was it the first or second? I think it was the second. It's like my biggest video too. I was like, oh my gosh. Um, where they said, like, as women, yeah, it was about the video. As women who have experienced this too in your workplace, like, you can see it too, right? That kind of wording and just all of it. I was just so offended by that. And before posting that, I thought, like, I don't know, maybe I'll regret saying this, but I felt like so strongly about that. It just felt so, to me, moral to say that. And like, I was watching something immoral, legal, but immoral, and to not call it out felt immoral. Even if, like, it would prove, like, I chose to take the risk of, maybe like later on I'd be like, oh, maybe I was wrong. But I'd rather would have said that than not post that, because I felt like that was just, it was kind of like the psychologist. It hurt people, and it hurts, like, people forward. And it's just like, regardless, throw away this whole case. Like, that is so wrong. And the psychologist that I think that's how I found her too, because she made a video about Darvo, like, who is actually using Darvo. And then I followed her, and I learned so much, like, oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Emotion, that's what they're doing, all this stuff, which we use, the terms like um gaslighting and whatever other terms we use. And she just really broke it down for us in even more simple terms. And yeah, and the more, like, this is going, the more it's not even confirmation bias. It's just like, that alone is wrong. Everything else, okay, a lot of it is gray, but that, whew, I don't know how I got into that. Anyways, I thought they had allegedly, oh yeah, the women, and then they want to dismiss Well, why would they? That's a good question. I don't know if that was meant to be rhetorical or real. They it I didn't read skipping ahead, I guess, but I didn't read in the little screenshot that um woman more with MJ on Threads. I didn't read a reason. It just says, "Oh, wait. Oh, so there's two. One is on behalf of defendants Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Um, we write in response to the court's January 22nd, 2025 notice of the initial pretrial conference. The Lively Reynolds parties intend to move to dismiss plaintiff's complaint, Justin's complaint, saying, hey, dismiss his complaint. It's not true or whatever. We don't like it. And then there's also another one to the same judge, because I think they're all under the same judge. From we write on behalf of defendants Leslie Sloan and Vision PR in response to the court's, you know, the same thing. So, but she didn't include any more than that. And I think she said, or Donna said, that it's basically right now it's closed, so we don't have access to it unless someone found it, got access to it. But I think she's a lawyer, so she had access or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, the letters are there. Again, I'll post the links below once this is done. And yeah, and she goes into the kind of breaking this down a little bit. Like the motion to dismiss is like basically the lawyers telling the court the claims are either that they either don't make sense, they lack evidence, or if true, which we know that's not the case, if true, they might not be actually illegal. And I mean, yeah, that's an interesting one. So, or it's legally flawed somehow. Why does it matter if the judge agree? I mean, Donna kind of read this too. I don't want to like reread, read, say everything the same. But yeah, if the judge agrees, the claims set forth by Justin Baldoni against them would be over. No trial, no discovery phase, no drama. But they can or will file motions with evidence even if if the motion to dismiss is approved, um, and they will argue and respond, or sorry, before that they will argue that they shouldn't be dismissed, and yeah, and then they get into the discovery phase. um so yeah, I, to all of us now it looks like, because it started with Justin's team, they released the video. And that no, they did the lawsuit, and Blake's team had like, upped the game, calling him, worse than, oh, like he's retaliating, which again, I still believe that's the actual like reason for the lawsuit, for Blake's. And then yeah, so now he's an abuser, and then they let the video out. Blake's team said, see, it proves our evidence, it proves our case. And I guess either they saw the backlash of people not believing that, saying, no, that's actually not true, or they, at the same time, decided, well, we're going to file this protection order, as we have been calling it, a gag order. And they've been fighting against with that, like there's been three back and forths. Um, and so and that came the next thing, and then now the motion to dismiss, and they're not presenting anything. Just on So Blake wants to she kind of publicly said, not herself, but I remember somewhere, I think in the lawsuit or in the article, the New York Times article somewhere, it's like this complaint was meant for, you know, more protection against women coming out and speaking out about SH, to not have retaliation against them. And she made it public, or, we allegedly, a lot of us believe that she was the one that made it public because there's a lot of evidence for that. And if your case is against retaliation, why would you want to dismiss? Why would you want it to be hush hush? Why wouldn't you want it to be, especially, from your side, somehow that got leaked first before they took any action, any legal action at least. And you have these people coming to your defense and all this stuff publicly. Why would you hush hush it if it's for other victims and so forth, for the greater women well-being in society? um if you Instead of like providing evidence, once you see that this is like, it's just gone from your hands, it's gone, it's out of your hands, the internet has picked it up, it's too late to turn back now. W Why would you not provide your own evidence? It just feels like it. And again, we're all still waiting because it could be that they do have a lot of evidence or something that's, like, blatant, like, "Yes, it happened," but it doesn't feel true if they're trying to hush it, if they're trying to dismiss it, if they're trying to fight it without evidence, but fight it through all of these back doors. Because that's what kind of it feels like, right? They're fighting all from all the other angles except to go head on. Um, so yeah, there's that motion to dismiss part. And I forget who said this. One of the 3 people basically, but, could it be an intimidation tactic? I don't know if they said this, but or could it be that the lawyers, Blake's side, just found out all this stuff and like, "Oh, crap, you didn't tell us this. We didn't know this. I don't know that we can win this now. Like, with your evidence, sure, but with what is coming out, I think we can't win it, and we didn't know about it." And are they kind of freaking out? And that's why they're moving to dismiss. Some lawyers said that, I think it was a lawyer saying that this is pretty common, the motions to dismiss. Um, but yeah. So there's one topic, and maybe because the trial is far away. And oh, and yeah, that Maria, that's the other thing I thought too, is like, but they're not dismissing both of the cases though. Blake's would still be running unless she's like, well, if we move to dismiss his case, he'll move to dismiss our case, and then instead of settling, it'll just go away. It'll go away. And this whole year, because that's also interesting, right? With the timing after finding out because they were pushing for a court date and suddenly like, oh, let's dismiss this one. Maybe they're like, we'll lose a lot more if we wait a whole year before court. They don't want to go public with anything, and obviously also it's not going to matter too much as far as like legally, the judge can't rule on public on PR and stuff, on public decisions. But although it could be kind of interesting, that's what used to be. I think that's how we have the jury now, probably because it's like the people decide. But yeah, it could be that they would lose a lot more money, a lot more, um, like, not well, fame, but, uh, gosh, I can't think of the word. They would lose a lot more in this whole year. where they won't be able to talk, especially because, well, neither side is really like being out there. His wife posted, wife posted, Ryan's like out there a lot more than they are and stuff. But yeah, like they would, both parties would be looked at through an incredible magnifying lens until that court date and then afterwards. And that is a pretty far date, and it is like blowing up so much. So it also could be that it's so far off, um or that they don't have anything and they're maybe starting to catch on evidence that they know he has, that like, oh no, if he releases that, like, we'll be in trouble. That could also be the case. um so yeah, Angel, I hope you're feeling better. um Oh, no. Well, it's been something's going around. Some of my content creators ended their live streams abruptly. Oh gosh. Yeah, it felt kind of like an off day with everyone, but it's been a lot. I got sick in December and I never get sick, especially not like that. I really never get sick, and it was really bad. And yeah, there's like trifecta, at least I don't know, more fecta out there of viruses and bacteria and all sorts. So yeah, everyone stay safe, wash your hands, do what you can, that to help. Um, yeah, she could have done it privately. I think Justin should spill everything. Yeah, where is that site? I personally wasn't even expecting the voice note until that, protective order, gag order, whatever, would be decided on. Is I expected like just them finding that would have some sort of, hey, you need to not post anything until this gets decided. And if they did release the voice note, why are they not releasing the website? I mean, and maybe they're kind of still debating what they should. There's also a big reason to think that Justin doesn't want to destroy Blake, doesn't want to destroy these people. And that's why there's like sprinkling of evidence more carefully thought out than just releasing the whole thing. Or it could be that they're, finding things that make them look guilty. I don't know. Or it could also be that it's just like a lot of information and they need to carefully figure out how to put it all there and store it and all that stuff and all that's involved. Um, Maybe figure out, maybe they're talking, amongst themselves, the legal counsel and stuff. Maybe they're talking like how much, like how legal is this? How will this affect the case? And can the case be dismissed if we do this? And then they say this, they might think of all the different law rules and laws, law rules, the laws and things. But yeah, we're all waiting. I don't know that I'm ready for it. I personally feel like we have so much already. I feel like the whole internet is going to either go down for that day as we're all reading it, if that will come out, or we'll all be reading it live or seeing it. But there'll be like other evidence from what they say too, not just reading. So it either is going to like sparkle up like fireworks and there's just going to be just too much, or it's just going to be silence. So because yeah, we're all waiting for that. Maria, you don't believe that there's going to be the website? I have a question. Why so long for a trial? I mean, they should have their evidence already now. Yeah. I wish that I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. People have had lawyers and that has not been a question that people have asked on their show. But yeah, that's a very good question. I'll try to look into that after. Um I kind of made my speculations, I think a couple of lives ago or videos ago. Um, like, I don't know, maybe waiting for things to die down, maybe just how the system is. Yeah, it like how normal is that? I don't know. Is that just normal practice except for everything else no one cares? But I feel like with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, was it like that for anyone who's watched that? Was it that long, or did they file in secret and then the public knew only when the court date happened? How did that go? And same with like, well, Britney Spears was different, but I'm trying to think of these like public court places, court trials. But yeah, yeah, waiting for their next move, holding off. I heard Blake Lively will be with Taylor Swift on game day. Thoughts on that? Yeah. Yeah, I heard that too. I hesitated clicking on that website. The Sun and one other website reported that. And I mean, I'm just confused at this point because we just got the other, seemingly really real inside scoop of Taylor Swift saying, "Hey, I'm backing off of our friendship." And then with the Super Bowl, if Blake Lively attends, at this point, there is no way, unless Taylor Swift knows for sure that Blake will win, and not just in court, but in public opinion. I find it very hard to think they can still be friends and they can still be spotted together here and there if she's just trying to stick by her best friend or her friend. And you know no one's perfect, so that friendship could be strong enough to like sustain, or withstand this. But to go to the Super Bowl, that is a whole other thing. On one hand, yes, it gives a lot more eyes on it, right? It's going to, who knows what deals these people make, Taylor with the NFL, all this stuff for money. But I think I I would feel like it would hurt her more because it's really not looking good for Blake. And it will drag her down a lot. How many Taylor Swift fans, though, believe Justin? That's also something interesting to think about because a lot, like, I used to watch Swiftologist a lot because I liked his style. Um, and I liked he was such a, I mean, he is such a fast talker, but not really monotonous, kind of. I don't know. It was just like soothing. It was good. And he did the research, he would pull things. It was just like really cool. I stopped because I stopped really following Taylor Swift stuff. I actually stopped at the Golden Globes or whatever last year. I thought that was like extremely, could talk about Mean Girl, right? Have your boyfriend insult this comedian. What did he do to you besides make a joke that, what? Now we don't have free speech. Comedians need to like not make jokes. That's exactly what everyone's waiting for. And then the comedians will get criticized, and people might not follow them if they're not making the right jokes. If they're like, why are you not talking about this celebrity? Like for me with Saturday Night Live, Nelson was saying like it's probably like it's not too big yet, and they probably are like this is not important enough right now. But like, why are you not talking about it? Is it because they're paying you? Is it because they're intimidating you? So it's a lose-lose situation. And so for her and to like have her boyfriend do this, or for her boyfriend Travis to do this on his own accord, thinking this is the right move to insult this, comedian and put him down and like call him names, I think. I don't know, like put him down really badly for your girlfriend. I wouldn't want a boyfriend like that. That I would not want a boyfriend like that. I need you to be a little bit more evolved than that. I need you to be, and I use this word evolved. It probably sounds terrible. I don't know the word yet that I want to like really land on, but like enlightened. I want you to be, to grow up, be a grown up, and be kind and respectful. You can stand up for your, girlfriend, wife, husband, boyfriend, whatever. You can stand up for your partner in respectful ways and still be firm. So that's when I just was like not interested anymore. And all the other stuff that it was like, yeah, this is annoying, but I like her music right now. That was like too much for me. But Swiftologist like was totally on Blake's side. And so, like, I guess now I'm thinking like maybe it won't hurt Taylor at all because probably a lot of like Taylor Swift fans, especially the core Taylor Swift fans, are going to believe Taylor Swift's best friend. And who is this guy? How many of them know about Justin Baldoni? Because so many people, I'm kind of surprised because I don't know why so many people don't know him, but like, so many people don't know him. So, but in the long term, do they also think they'll win because they are powerful and they always win? Like there's so many things. So I feel like it's 50-50 and we won't know until we know, until what, Sunday. Until then we won't know if she will attend or won't attend. um I don't know if that answered your questions, but those are kind of my thoughts on that. Um I have absolutely no idea, and anyone who has an idea is a speculation at this point. Unless anyone's like, yeah, see, this is their ticket or their reservation or whatever they do. Um, but yeah, outside of that, like, yeah, is it a good move or a bad move? It can go either way. Yeah. What do you guys think? Seriously, like, what do you guys think? Is it a bad thing for Taylor? What do you think she'll do? Kind of lost track a little bit. Sorry. Okay, yeah. He's hoping they'll stop before the more damaging receipts will be brought. Um, that will be something she hasn't made an appearance on or posting. I thought Taylor Swift didn't want to get involved. Is it? Yeah, right. Yeah, the media is all over her already. Like they, well, I mean, I don't know too much, but I don't feel like people are too happy besides Taylor Swift fans that she's so involved, so present. And she got so criticized. Like she's being maybe not dragged, but she's getting a lot of criticism just for congratulating and being happy for her boyfriend. Now they're saying like she's stealing the spotlight and blah blah. And from all the videos that I saw, I didn't see that. Like just I think people are saying that just because she can be that controlling with her image and she can be that like buy my album, but wait, I have four more versions of the same exact album, but I just changed them up a little bit. So I think that's why she's getting the backlash, which she got before too. Why she needed to like pull back. So I think she just that's her style, and it would probably be wise to like lay a little low from controversy, you know. But yeah, she should stay away. I think Taylor should stay away. She shouldn't get involved. Yeah, feel better on him. Good night. Um, yeah, yeah, that's us. What do we know? I'm very curious. I'll say that whether she attends or doesn't, if she attends, it's also kind of like a party for us because we will be analyzing everything. We would like just like watch everything. Um so yeah, which also does Blake want to be put through that right now? Is she that confident? Because everything will be analyzed and even that will be analyzed and I don't know if it's good for any of them, for anyone, because it doesn't even show solidarity because clearly there's two stories that Taylor Swift's like, I don't know why I'm being dragged into this. So if she wanted to support her friend, She would say something like Robin Lively did, like, "Hey, check this article out." Maybe not that. That's not really Taylor Swift style, but she would like go to dinner with Blake or something. But she hasn't done that. So, yeah. I don't know that we'll get through everything. I'm gonna try to speed up through the tiny little things. So one little thing, I think this was on Andy's, like, is Colleen Hoover retiring from what? And I asked that question because, yeah, from what? Is she retiring? Is that kind of the idea of retiring, like she won't write anymore? Because I think they were meshing things together, and I don't think they're together. Is she just not going to be involved in like filmmaking? Or is she not writing anymore, but she will be involved in filmmaking? Because my sense from that exchange that she had with Justin is that she's been trying to create, well, and also from like the interview where Blake praised her in the editing bay, that, oh, she was like able to remove herself from being an author and a book writer, and be in the editing bay. Can't believe no one like has talked that much about that. Maybe they have and I missed it. And put herself in like more of a storyteller, like screen movie storyteller. And so is maybe Colleen retiring from writing books because she wants to do more movies? But her getting off of Instagram and now this story coming out, it could be that whether or not she's like forever retiring, she's probably like, I am in over my head. This is completely out of control. I don't even know who's right, who's wrong. I don't know anything anymore. That's kind of my sense. My take, my interpretation would be that that's where Colleen is. She, whether she, because I do feel like she kind of chased fame and where the money was and all that stuff, because we have her controversy with the coloring book and the nail polish and selling all of her books out for movies and trying to get better and better. Regardless, she's still human, and I feel like it went too fast. When you're like, you might get what you want, but it's like just dumped on you with a truck. This is not even that. It was that, and then it was like just another truck of garbage all over you too. And so I think it just got too much. And honestly, people can criticize her, but I can understand and have empathy for her to just go silent. I don't think it would be nice if she knows the truth, or knows, because there might be two different truths. Like it could still be that Blake's alleges or whatever are true, especially like the smear campaign. It could be that it's true, but it could also mean that Blake was in the wrong too, and just like both can be true, or one can be true or whatever. But it would be nice for her to support the truth in court. I don't think she owes us supporting anything. Especially, I just feel bad for her because no matter what, she's like one human. She doesn't have the PR team and all the stuff. I think she has some PR, right? She has to, but I don't think to this level that either Justin or Blake do. And I think, yeah, she just got in over her head. So, retiring, I don't think we'll never hear from her again. That's my opinion on that one. I don't think we'll never hear from her because she's older, but she's young enough to ride this out for a few years, 10 years even or more, and come back with a book, a tell-all, I don't know, inspired by all of this or whatever. um and then by then also people would be interested, maybe, if you get the timing right, people will be interested enough and have forgiven you enough to buy that book. So, yeah. um Good night, Angel. Feel better. I heard Colleen fired all her staff. Oh, really? Where did you hear that, Maria Rodriguez? Maybe she's leaving the country until everything cools down. I wouldn't blame her. If I had the money, if I was in her position and I had the money and all the pressure that she's having, and not just from us, the public, but I imagine, I wonder if she's pulling out because of the pressure she feels from Blake, and maybe pressure or guilt from Justin's side. She might feel guilty for how she treated the whole thing. She might not feel guilty. Maybe she still feels in the right, but she is highly likely pressured by Blake. Nicely, like charmingly, probably. Maybe not, maybe more than charmingly. But yeah, I would leave the country if I could. If I could just be like, you know what? No, I'm not involved in this. I'm not technically dragged into this. Until they ask me to be in court, I'm just going to like bye. So yeah, but yeah, if she fired her whole staff, wow. Now that's sad, right? Because like, what did they do? And if that happened, hopefully they got enough notice to like and help to work somewhere else. Um, Yeah. Taking the money and run, yeah. Uh that what is that? Um I'm so removed from this, I don't remember the lyrics, but yeah, that made me think of wait, put the money in a bag and stole the keys. That was the last time you ever saw me. Taylor Swift getaway car. That's what it reminded me when he said that. Yeah, yeah, you know. Yeah. Man, kind of started with her, didn't it? Kind of started with her. The irony. She sell her second book in a different country. I mean, book one did good. I think Donna or Dave. Okay. That she fired her staff. Okay. Yeah. It just hit me. That's kind of I still feel bad for her, but I also can see how cowardly that is because she literally is the root of this whole project. She wrote the book, she sold it to Justin, and then everything happened after that. And I believe, right? I think I forget where this came from, because it was a while ago that like she suggested Blake, maybe, or she at least was like very happy and maybe like went to Justin like, yeah, Blake's interested, yeah, definitely. So one way or another, she had so much involvement, like she got she said the domino effect, she didn't know, probably, no one had any idea this was going to go down this way. I'm sure not even Blake thought it would go down this specific way. So yeah, and then yeah, she runs. She's like, dominoes, bye. They're coming at me, I'm out. um yeah, I can't keep up either. Today I felt very overwhelmed, but that's why we're all here. Okay, so I had like a small little mention. I mentioned Morena Baccarin in the 2 lives ago, and Bohemian Diva made her video about that. I was like, interesting, because she also spoke in that same video about like um I don't know, like people, she also had this idea that people are stealing from her content because she said it first or whatever. I know that, and I credited her for the "He's Not Your Ex" video that she did, but I was inspired by that because it was just it hit. Like I'm like, wow, yeah, I don't know about this, but this is awesome. Exactly. That's so concise. Anyways, but she made this video on Morena Baccarin yesterday, I think, and she mentioned, and I don't this is not verified, I'm just going to put this out there, super, like, hearsay. But she's kind of backed up every one of her evidences, claims, whatever. So I'm gonna mention it, but again, take it with more than a grain of salt, like a tablespoon of salt. Apparently, and you might already know this anyways, in Deadpool 2, um, Blake Lively was pregnant and she made a comment on at premiere or press or whatever, of her own press or something. Something that sounded like jealous towards them kissing and the like Ryan and Morena kissing and whatever they do in Deadpool. And then Deadpool 3 rolls around and talked about the video, the interview that she did with the one interviewer that felt very awkward and very much like what's happening now, excuse me. Well, what probably would happen if they wouldn't have gone legal, Justin and Blake, excuse me. And hearing that's why I want to mention it is again, like kind of we're kind of all over the place. Like, is it Ryan? Is it Blake? Is it Ryan? Is it Blake? Is it both? Donna thinks it's both, and I kind of agree. I don't two things that I have a hard time seeing too much, like too clearly at this point with all that we have, is yes, Ryan has a history of being controlling or like being jealous, not liking his partners to be more successful, whatever. Okay, he hasn't had that many anyway. So is it a pattern? Is it not? Um, and also, oh, the psychologist said that, watch out what you hear regarding like Ryan and Blake um didn't have an affair. And then I looked up they filmed Greenland. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Green Lantern went from March to August 2010. And then Scarlett and him announced their separation in December 2010. So I don't know if anyone believes that they actually had an affair, like they actually kissed. I mean, they did kiss because they were cool. That was the movie, but like if something actually happened. But I remember that one of them mentioned how Blake would come to set with cupcakes that she made. I think Ryan's like after a whole day on set, she goes at home instead of sleeping, she makes these cupcakes that she brings for him or for everyone. That sounds like someone who likes someone, especially in the more feminine sense, where it's like, oh, I have this crush and I'm going to like go above and beyond, and push myself to the limits. Um, Again, I don't know that something specifically happened. Um, and then there's also what Scarlett said, or that host where Scarlett was in being interviewed, saying around like basically he was jealous because she got more successful. Was it the two things combined? Like, well, and I have this girl that's interested in me and she's cute and not as successful. But she was pretty, I mean, Blake was pretty successful too. But yeah, maybe financially. I don't know. Um so, yeah, could it be Blake? Again, the Ryan thing is kind of hard for me to really solidify my feet in that he's the mastermind and he's like the leader of this whole thing, and he got jealous and he's the one who asked for dailies and all that stuff. There was that mention on set, but I think that came from Candace, right? From her sources. Um, yeah, that could have been, but that's the other theory that I haven't sunk my feet in. My feet are not sticking to the other theory that it was all about a crush, that Blake developed a crush on Justin. I mean, I did the video, right? I went through like she had many boyfriends and all her boyfriends she met somehow on set or like auditioning. So, yeah, okay. But she's been in movies since she's been married. Correct me if I'm wrong. I I think she's had other love interests. I guess a simple flavor, a simple favor, she kind of disappeared or died. Who knows? I don't even remember. That movie was it was beautifully shot and everything, but I just didn't get it, and I don't know. But, yeah, maybe she hasn't, like, really had that kind of, like, connection or, not connection, but, role where she's playing romantically interested in someone since she got married, but I think she did because it's been a while. Either way, it could have been that. I don't know. My gut is not going there. I don't know. My feet just cannot stick to that theory. And I'm just going to be honest about that instead of like bandwagging or whatever onto this theory. These two for me are like just really hard. From what I read in, I guess maybe from what I read in Justin's lawsuit, and I do have that reading. It's a 10-hour video on my page if you go. I was going to I was thinking maybe I should reread it and try to squeeze it in like 2 hours or 3 hours, but, yeah, and now, like, would he have said anything that alluded to that if it wasn't true? If it was true, I don't know, but, like, it just seemed like it was just different than that. It just seemed like she was love bombing him more. I don't know if the actual technical love bombing term, but she was, like, praising him and all this stuff, and it didn't seem genuine. It didn't seem like she had a crush on him. It seemed like she was, like, doing it to get something from him. And so I just don't believe this crush. I think it's also too the truth is, like, always the simple thing. I don't know it okay. This theory to me, when people say it, it sounds a lot more, like, personal. Rather than what we see. It sounds more like it sounds more like gossip. So maybe that's why I can't buy into it. I don't know. I mean, it's all gossip what we're doing, but like um salacious like romance novel kind of readers. That's how their mind works, kind of. That's what it sounds like to me. And because she has that history, it doesn't look good. It looks like there's probable cause. But did it happen? We haven't seen anything yet in that direction. And even in that video that we saw, she looked uncomfortable at times. I don't think that was her acting. I know, and I said this before, like the one time when he said it smells good, like it smells good. I think it was very close to his intonation. Not really, but she got uncomfortable. She had like a little micro reaction and stuff. And she got flustered. That's like the better way that I want to say it. She got flustered and she's like, oh no, that's my body makeup or whatever. Which is an interesting response, anyways. Um, just none of that gave her having a crush on him. And like the way that I interpreted that moment was she misheard and misunderstood what he said. But also at the same time, I guess I'm disproving my point because, like, did she just that quickly forget that she herself said, like, "You probably smell my body tan or whatever." So I guess I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's probably like an unpopular opinion. I just those 2 theories, I think Ryan did have some involvement in it and he felt personally about it because we have Nice Pool and that's like pretty obvious. And we have their like Gordon so, excuse me. Gordon Reynolds, on both movies and stuff and the terribly insensitive and offensive mock interview that he did with Brendan Sklenar, and his mom and, um, Hugh Jackman. Gosh, how can I not remember his name? And, yeah, that was that I mean, that phew, gosh, man, they kind of suck. So yeah, but I don't think that's why all of this. I don't think that's why the allegations. I don't think that's like that list. I don't think that's why she tried to take over. Um, I don't know. Super personal, unpopular opinion over here. Um, you didn't like the Green Lantern. Yeah. I don't even remember it. I don't know. But he found his other superhero. I think it was pretty. It was prettier than, whatever Deadpool, the green and stuff, I don't know. But this way you don't even see him, so he can age, he can be whatever age, he can do this forever. I think she wanted the right to both movies. Yeah, as a director, I think she wanted to advance her career. And a little bit of me also thinks, she has this is a personal opinion, performative feminism. I saw this, it's like a short or a reel or something where it was just clips between her and Scarlett Johansson, how they answered the same questions or similar questions of like, "Oh, you're pregnant," and Scarlett's like, "No, I'm not." But she said it a lot more like factually or not as like she was taken aback, but she didn't like attack the person. She was just like, "That's rude." And then Blake, we know Blake and Kirsty's, interview. And then there was, this other one oh, and then with Jimmy Fallon, she did that same thing too, Blake Lively, that she did with Kirsty, kind of like, she said to I think it was Jimmy Fallon, like, "You shouldn't ask a woman if they're pregnant," or something like that, or "Shouldn't assume." And I was like, it just kind of clicked, like, wow, she doesn't know what feminism is. She doesn't know what, like, fighting for women and women's rights and women's equality and all this stuff. She doesn't know what that is, and she's making jokes, like, she hasn't gotten a grasp on the actual thing. She just, like, kind of sees on paper kind of a list of, "This is what you do if you're, like, a feminist," and people like that. That's kind of what it comes across as, instead of, like, coming from the heart, like, it actually offended her. It triggered her, I think, but it didn't offend her, and it didn't offend her in a way that she thinks of other women and how it affects them, unlike Scarlett Johansson, and I think having them side by side, and it's not a comparison, it doesn't have to be a comparison, women against women. I'm just saying having them side by side, I realize the difference of how someone answers when they're just performing as someone that's having something deep to say or, like, trying to fight a cause, and maybe well-meaning. Maybe Blake does want to fight that cause, but she's not understanding how to and what that actually is about. Um, so yeah, I think at this point to me it looks a lot more like, yeah, it was about being a director, being a producer, having control. She herself has spoken that she can't be an actor, that she she can't just be given any lines and any wardrobe and be asked to transform into that character. She has I'm sorry, every time I say that, I just can't say it with a straight face because that's literally kind of a definition of an actor. That is literally the one thing, like, that's what an actor does. She has to be also the actor and producer, so she has to have that control. And I said this before in another video, like, go have that control. Make your own movie. Be as controlling as you want. Figure that out. There are really not fun directors to work with. There are some, like, really famous, really big, really even, like, people that seek to work with these directors that are controlling. They're not really collaborative or equal or, like, nice. Um, they're men typically, sure, but, do that. Find that. Don't step into someone else's project. And also the worst thing, like, it's not a Deadpool, it's not a frivolous topic, it's not a romantic comedy. Um, don't not the right time, not the right time, but that's what I think she did, yeah. She wanted to prove to Ryan she can direct. I don't think so. Again, sorry. I don't think she w mm. I do believe that Ryan can be jealous and doesn't really want for her to be too much. I don't think that. I don't think also just their relationship, I don't think there is that need to prove to each other. They can have their own flaws and they can have their issues with like true intimacy with one another, if, whatever we're speculating. Personal opinion, I don't think they have to prove that to one another. So, yeah, but that's an interesting theory. Sorry, I'm just giving my own thoughts at this point. She should have read the book. Yeah, the scenes are in the book. If she wanted comedy, make a movie with your husband, not a serious subject. Yeah, or like levity, not even comedy. But yeah, go. Well, this would be hell. This would not go down. But her and Jennifer Lopez, and I do like Jennifer Lopez. I have some respect for her in certain aspects. Um, but yeah, like she does her own movies. She produces. She went for it. But yeah, I was like, team up with them. Like, no, they're both like they both need to be the leaders. That would end up in terrible things. But yeah, so that's the other part is like she wants to be in control, but she's not doing her homework. Like read the book. Whether you're the actor or the producer, the director, the one with the vision, whatever, read the book. It's all there. If it's a book. If it's not, then yeah, go make your own thing. Make up the wardrobe, make up the characters, make up everything about the movie. Um, yeah, Shirsty, I think I don't know. I'm still learning. Who's there? She has one interviewer, I don't know, 10 videos ago that pronounces her name. I think anyone who comes on kind of pronounces her name. Or like go because she collaborates and she's on their channel and they'll have to introduce her. So yeah, but I think Kirsty Flaw. Um, yeah, yeah. She's not an actor. She could be a model. She could be an influencer. I think she would be a great influencer, especially like she wants humor. Her sense of humor online worked a lot better most of the time. Now the thing with Kate Middleton, but it worked a whole lot better online than when she's speaking in interviews and stuff. Yeah, I think she's in the wrong line of work. But if she stays here, she needs to be in control. She cannot be an actress. Just no, and she doesn't want to be. She even said that she feels the best part of this movie, this experience was being behind the camera rather than in front of the camera. So like just be there. Oh gosh, I feel oh my gosh. She just ruined her career right now. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, that I like the word catfight necessarily, but yeah. Jennifer and Blake, they won't even get it to filming. They won't even make it past pre-production. Yeah, unless they're like really aligned and they both have the same vision, then they probably can like amp each other up and stuff. But they have to literally have the same exact vision, the same exact like um, you know, angle or cinematography moment, like with the whole scene that we saw with Justin, like they need to not disagree. Um, so yeah, I'm going to skip over yeah, the TikToker, I'll talk about that another time, the casting director. I wanna get to the musical composer though before we end this. And the brother-in-law. Yeah, so Robin Lively made a post. Go check my sister's or whatever this article out. It's compelling, blah blah. Whatever did she say? What did she say? I do have it pulled up. I urge everyone to read the New York Times article in its entirety. It calls out those behind the ruthless and nefarious smear campaign that aimed to take down my sister. It also highlights the truth and what really happened, what she actually endured during the filming of It Ends With Us. We live in an age where we have access to people's personal lives like never before, especially actors. It makes us feel like we know them. We see them on social media, watch clips of them, and make snap decisions about their character. The only reason I can comment on this is because I'm guilty of it too. We all are. The truth is, we don't know them, but I do know my sister. She's one of the most kindest, most honest, and loving humans I know. Like, isn't a villain. And everyone says this, that she's the kindest, most honest, and loving. This is like a line people have that are close to her, like her family, friends. But when we hear things from people that have worked with her that are not, blood, basically, we get the opposite. We hear the opposite, that she's like the rudest, the meanest, all this stuff. How can those both exist? Like, does she take it out on the world because inside her family she has to be like the kindest and honest and most loving? Maybe that's something. I don't know. My brain is trying to like make both of those fit in my brain somehow. Like, it can't be lies. Like, they both have to be true, right? I don't know. But yeah. So anyways, blah blah. She talks a lot more. It's a long post, but and people definitely commented, "Well, that didn't age well," etc. Talked about that. Anyways, Bart Johnson is her husband. And again, I think I saw this last night. Dana, she posted this last night in a quick like, "Oh my gosh, I just found out. I just got put onto this." So he made a statement saying that um anytime I've said anything unkind about someone, I've regretted it. We should all feel that way. Fortunately, that's almost never and definitely not when I'm at my best. Could have done without that one. That's kind of like apologizing and taking it back a little bit, but we'll let that slide. Regardless if it's true or not, if it's my opinion, even if I'm trying to speak truth or stand up for someone, it's never good. Even in times to like speak badly about someone else. Even in times where it might feel justified and doing the right thing, it makes no difference. There's a better way. It's below the standard I have for myself and I regret it. I do sincerely apologize to anyone I've hurt to, or let down by saying something that sounds mean. I'll do better. If you follow me, you know you'll be hard pressed. Okay. This goes up and down. It's like like apologizing, justifying, apologizing, but I'm right kind of. But it's okay. It's still good. It's still positive. And I think it was Dave that said like we need to let that door open for people to come out and say, hey, wow, I regret saying this, or I'm sorry that I said this, or whatever, instead of attacking them. Because I guess he got like in comments, he's getting attacked like, well, where were you back then? You should have said this back then, or you even this, like, you could say better, whatever. And I agree with Dave. If we want people to come out and say, "Hey, I regret saying this," or even if I still believe that this is the case, I shouldn't have attacked this other person, and that's not right, especially without every evidence coming out. We need to create that safe space for people to, like, come out and say that. Like, in relationships, we need to be mindful that we need to, like, when you're wrong, but you feel like your partner is going to just say, "Well, I told you so," or attack you even more, like, "Yeah, see, like, you did a wrong thing," instead of, like, you going to apologize and them actually taking that apology and saying, okay, that's okay. I appreciate you, like, taking accountability and feeling sorry about this, about how it made me feel, about how it affected me or us or you or, whoever, whatever. Yeah. Put in that perspective, maybe we can see it, like, if we just double down on, like, hating and being mean to someone literally who's, like, actually I love his first sentence, like, like we should all, like, take accountability, but we should all just not say mean things about people, even if we really believe that, this other person that we love has been victimized. Um, unless it's like Now, I'm sure there's exceptions. And yeah, I don't know. And I guess we kind of do that right here with Blake. And I tried to be mindful and I caught myself like a few days, a couple of weeks ago, like, I caught myself in this, like, talking badly and being on that bandwagon, like, yes, like, Blake was ridiculous for saying that this was sexual harassment or this or that or whatever, and with the video when it came out, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold on, this is not me, this is not what I want, all this discussion to be as far as I'm concerned, like, what I can add to it or what I'm about." It's more like analyzing, thinking about it, applying it to my own life, to other lives, each other, like our own lives, and bouncing bounce boards. Gosh, I still don't know the word for that. I was thinking about it yesterday. Um, but yeah, and it's like theorizing all that stuff. But I hope I stay grounded enough to not that I'm, like, flying high, but I hope I do still stay grounded regardless of anything to and I repeat this enough, because in my mind, in my heart, I believe this, like, there is grace that for anyone that, comes through that door with an apology or with, like, even a different point of view, but in a kind way of presenting it, or even if they're like triggered, but like, open way of presenting it. And to always remember that to make the difference in our own minds as well of what is actual fact. And like, I'm speaking like actual fact. What is like a somewhat fact, which is like, well, this is what's published online. This is what Justin said in his lawsuit. This is what Blake said in her lawsuit. So those are kind of facts, right? We don't know yet. And then there's like our opinions and our perception. So being clear, because you can say your opinion, you can say your perception, you can talk about facts, you can speculate, you can go off into all the different things. But as long as you're very clear to yourself and to your audience and I'm saying like audience, even your friends or like, the person next to you, that wherever that fits, like, "Oh, this is my opinion. I don't know, but I really believe it strongly. I really think this is true. It's my opinion." Like, as long as we're clear with ourselves and each other on where it falls, I think that's, like, what free speech is and where it, like, goes well. Because it can be creative and it can be like, "Oh, I didn't think of that," and then it can open up towards some fact. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of my take on that, and I don't know, did I close that chapter well? I don't know. So final thing, the music composer, um, 'cause this is I feel like I own this because as soon as Donna mentioned I went to my IMDb really quickly, and I went and I scrolled through this guy's IMDb, and I was like, "Oh," and I put it in her chat too, um, and she didn't see it, she didn't, catch it at that time. Maybe later, and, no one so far, maybe by now people have said that, but cats. Did anyone catch this? Talk about cats and cat fights. Um, you think Justin and Blake can come back from this? Yes. Career-wise, yes. How long? It also depends on how long this will go on and how much more smearing each person does. Yeah. Um, yeah. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Sorry, my back is like stuck. Oh, oh boy. All right. Yeah, yeah, everyone that's like I said, everyone that's not like blood relative is saying the opposite of how kind and loving and honest she is. And the things that I hear they say, and I don't think she's telling them to say this. So it's interesting. But the things that I see Ryan say, well, I don't know, did Ryan say this? But her sister and these type of people is that and her PR is these specific words, kind, honest, and loving. I don't know if anything else, but these words, especially like, I don't know, this phrase, I feel like I've seen it so many times, but no one that's, like, outside of that inner circle is saying that, you know? Colleen Hoover, she said that too, right? I think she said that exactly, right? So, yeah, yeah. Families stick together. I have sisters, and we didn't get along more than we got along. Yeah, I still love them through yeah, yeah. Um, we should be unbiased until everything comes to light. Are Blake and Ryan going to dismiss? Oh, hi, you're new. Welcome, loyalty. Um, yeah, that was our I think that was the first thing that I talked about, so you can, like, go back and scroll back, but basically, we don't know. But that's they yeah, they sent a motion for dismissal, and Leslie Sloan and Vision PR also sent a motion for dismissal, for Justin's case or complaint to be dismissed, and, um, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, the decision has not been made. Um Yeah, sorry, just go back. I don't even remember it. I wanna get to this composer part, but just, like, scroll back. You can do it now or later, and at the beginning, like, probably, what, 15 minutes into this or something, I talk about that. So on Donna's live, her first, I think, today, she went on IMDb under It Ends With Us IMDb, and you click on cast and crew and you scroll all the way down to music department, and, for those who don't follow Donna, which I don't think is anyone here, I think we all follow the same people pretty much, but there's Nathan Alexander, who was an unused score, composer, uncredited, and he is a tiny fish, kind of. He worked I think he worked a lot with yeah, because he worked on Clouds, and that was a Wayfair production. And was that the only movie they did together? I don't know. He did a lot of shorts, composer for shorts, um, since like 2009, 2014. So yeah, he's not huge, huge, huge. And this was kind of his big break, I guess. It would have been probably. However, Brian Tyler, he's huge, huge. He's huge, huge, like, huge, and he has done work for a long time, and again, this is kind of like, you know, redundant in some parts. He's doing Transformers 1, that's, like, coming up this year, I guess. Um, I don't even know, Super Mario Brothers movie, 2022 Scream movie, Hawaii Five-O, and then we get to, 'cause I think she just read kind of the highlights. We get to Cats, and it's interesting. This is not the only time this happened. Who knows? Maybe he's a very difficult person. Maybe he's creepy. Maybe, there's something wrong with him because it's not the only time it happened. However, who was in Cats? Taylor Swift was in Cats. And I Donna said that her Google AI told her that he also kind of worked on some of Midnights, Taylor Swift's album Midnights, but he was taken off. He's nowhere. But this Google AI has not given. They're like, I can't give you anything at this time. So I don't know if it's something on my end or I don't know. But I didn't get that. But I did see this when she was scrolling, or she said him, and I was scrolling, and I was scrolling through, the credits. I wonder if he got uncredited and taken off of that. I don't think so because that was Andrew Lloyd Webber production, right? I don't think Taylor Swift dared to have a say in, composers being taken off or uncredited. Wow, so many people worked on this. Wow, hold on. I need to find. Okay. Yeah, so oh, interesting. He did the Universal theme, composer uncredited. There's a lot of uncredited people. I just like this is one of those like gossip moments, you know. This is not really maybe even tea. I'm just throwing that out there because I saw it. I'm like, ooh, maybe it's something. But yeah, but they technically worked on that together, Taylor and him. Was that worth it? I don't know. But yeah, definitely rewatch. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Maria. Thank you. Uh Thank you. Um, I try. Well, I actually don't try. I just kind of am. And hopefully it's good enough kind of thing. But yeah. Oh, interesting. Ryan Reynolds has a credit now in IMDb as a script collaborator. So again, IMDb, it ends with us. Huh, interesting. And I don't think you can add, right? I don't think you can add people. Well, no, you can. I think depending on, yeah, you can add people. I wonder who added him here. So it didn't have to be him. I also have an IMDb somewhere, and yeah, I've added people to my projects, and I've not tried to add people to other people's projects. So I don't know how that goes, if you can or not. I think you can though. But yeah, he appears there now. You have Ryan Reynolds in the credits. I wonder if they will use that in the law, in the lawsuit, in the court. What do you call that? In the trial. Like, see, he's on here. He's credited, although he's uncredited technically. Um, yeah, and then oh, and under thanks, Miss Lively wishes to extend special thanks to Ryan Reynolds as Gordon Reynolds. Man, okay. We'll end this on this note of how does this sit with you that these two adults, megastars, are playing these games? First of all, let's take into consideration like everyone right now, we are all fighting online. A lot of us are fighting online over serious allegations, SH. Like we're we're at each other's throats at times. Like I lost a friend because of these allegations, because of what that means and believing that or not. And or like it's not that I don't even believe them. So, but she thought I did anyways. So this is what we're fighting over. Meanwhile, these two, one who's had this supposedly allegedly happened to her, and then her husband, they don't go to authorities, to the union, to the HR, to Sony, to anywhere. They might, from the Reddit, they might, have threatened Sony to like go to the New York Times with it if they didn't, get whatever they wanted. Maybe. We don't have enough evidence for that now, just a Reddit post. But that happens. Um, they don't file any legal action until way after the movie ended and all that stuff. They don't file anything HR, anything legal, anything. They just make a list and tell the perpetrator, alleged perpetrator, "Hey, sign this, telling us you're not going to do this again," and then use that to get PGA producer credit, to get cut of the movie, to get this, to get that, to get whatever. And then on top of that, Ryan Reynolds, they're doing this movie kind of at the same time, ish. Ryan Reynolds creates a nice little character, gives him the lines, maybe he was already there, but he gives him the lines that are specific to take a dig at Justin Baldoni. They can deny it, but it's pretty obvious, especially when she credits him in this movie about TV, serious movie with people that have been through serious stuff in their lives, like, life or death maybe stuff. And she like says things to Gordon Reynolds, who is credited as, in Deadpool, they have Nice Pool is Gordon Reynolds. And they do that mock interview on top of it. And Ryan has these like other maybe related things. It's kind of obvious because he keeps mentioning this intimacy coordinator situation. I don't understand this intimacy coordinator's fixation either. I think Donna was like, what is this dude's fixation with this? Like, seriously. They had one. Maybe they didn't have one, all as much as it would have been good. I don't know. Like, it is a fixation, so maybe I'm starting to go more on the lean on the side of, yeah, Ryan was, kind of taking over at the end there, but just, like, the heaviness of this, and we're all fighting over, like, did he do, this SH allegation stuff to her? Did he not? Did she take over the movie? All this stuff, and kind of suddenly it all falls kind of small when you read things like this, that these two grown-up adults in their 30s, Ryan is in his 40s, right? Late 40s? And this again, this is such a serious topic. This is such a serious movie. This like it could be even worse. It could be about, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but people and the S word, like people, you know, going into a dark place. It could be worse. It could be that. Although victims and survivors of DV also could be in that place, like it's just so awful. Legal or not, obviously this is all legal. They can thank whoever, they can do whatever. But it's beyond immoral, it's so hurtful, and I just like, it just hit me now as I read that, you know? It's so awful, and they're fighting over career. They're fighting over a smear campaign, retaliation, which, yeah, if it's retaliation, especially against, like, SH, okay, yeah, that's heavy, but look at what you did and how you handled it. There's no way for me to see any of this. Whether or not it happened, there is no way for me to see her being a victim at this point, because she not only used it against her perpetrator, alleged perpetrator, but they did this instead of actually getting safety, if they felt like it was deserved, safety for other women and people, and just, and on top of it, how they treated these innocent audience members. Just kind of broke my heart right now, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know what to say. Like, it just that hit so heavy right now. It just hit so heavy. He's 48 years old. Yeah, wow. Like, what? I know some people don't grow up and stuff, and I feel like we don't know, and I'm resisting, saying that they're, like, awful people and all that stuff, because you can get swept up into fame, into habits, into your own traumas and your own stuff, and you don't work on them, and you don't work on yourself, and you get yes people around you, and you can lose so much touch with reality. But I feel like they should be held accountable. They should have consequence, not just for this whole legal battle, but what they did. They need to have like a mirror up of what they did to these people that maybe the people, didn't even catch it for the most part. Um, Now, unfortunately, probably everyone kind of is more aware, but if this wouldn't have happened, we probably wouldn't have really noticed nice pool and the reference and all this stuff, right? Maybe later on if something else would happen, but that was just like terrible. Yeah, 48-year-old child. Yeah, I don't know. Any comments I made are all allegedly. I don't wanna get yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all our opinion or all alleged, except that he is 48, right? I don't think you can get sued for saying someone's age. Um, that skit he made was very poor, especially Ryan's mother. Yeah, I don't who can tell me what that was about with the mother? Why did she get involved? What was that? Like, I understand Wolverine, they were doing, like, cross promotion, whatever. Distasteful, sure. Offensive, sure, all this stuff, but I don't even understand why Ryan's mother. I guess I think they're just kind of, like, just gone with creative like, imagination. They're just gone into a whole other world where it doesn't make sense to the rest of us sometimes. Um, Wait, let me go back to yeah, "You're making fun of someone who worked for years to bring this book to film." Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. I don't think it should have been handled this way. No, they had many options to deal with this, if it's true. Yeah, that's the thing. So for everyone who's defending that, "Oh, no, she is the victim," and all this stuff, there was a comment in one of the lives earlier, there was a comment about this exactly, how, like, gosh, I lost it, I forgot it, but, um I thought about this, like, well, she had all these like, it if this is true, like, she should have gone to the authorities, HR department, whatever it is, I don't know, union. I'm, putting all of these out because I've not been in that situation, and I've not been on that big of a set in that kind of role that was more involved and had, more knowledge of that. I've been, like, an extra and stuff and whatever. Um, so I don't really know all the stuff, but people talk like, "Oh, she should have gone to SAG, she should have gone to even Sony or, whoever." Not so I understand her not going to Wayfair because that's his, production company, although displaced, but yeah, sure, fine. To her agent, to her manager, to someone. But I remember, like, they chose not to, and I think it was even in that letter saying, "We choose not to take, official measures or whatever, because we want the movie to keep going." BS, BS. Just diversion, manipulate not manipulation, but diversion, and doesn't make sense. Yeah, they had so many options to deal with it. Oh gosh, I had that comment and I did actually wanna talk about it, but I completely forgot about it. Sorry, like, my laptop is, moving right now. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It was like, around the whole, like, smear campaign that I think this, commenter said that they believe in the smear campaign, and I don't know. It was actually refreshing to hear from the other side basically, 'cause, um, sometimes you're like, "What are we even, like, fighting for? Or is anyone out there, that we need to convince or to, um, you know, talk to?" But, yeah. Uh, you heard that he held her baby way after the scene. Yeah, this is something that should have been dealt with correctly. That skit 48, it's all a sad mess. Yes, it is. It's just getting messier and messier and more chaotic. Creepy couldn't watch the whole thing. It ends with us, you couldn't watch? I watched it. I will say something. I feel with us, I obviously, it was way before this. It was when there were, like, whispers of, like, "Ooh, he they're not together, never together. He is on, like, away from the cast all the time, and what's happening, and all that stuff," and I don't remember what the stories were. So, it was pretty close to the premiere, and I went and I watched it, like, a bootleg version or something that I found on a website because 'cause I'm like, I don't wanna give money to people that, might not deserve it. So let me watch this first, and then we'll see. And I've recently started watching it on Netflix, and it's hard to watch. The rooftop scene also is I remember, like, it was horrible before I knew all of this. Whoever wrote it and whatever, and I keep saying, like, maybe Justin's script and, edit was worse or bad, whatever. But what I'm seeing is not good. And the movie, I just had so much hope for. I didn't really know the book, I didn't know anything, but I loved the premise in the trailer. I personally really like the trailer. I think it set up the idea that it should have been. I like the music, that My Tears Ricochet in the trailer, not in the movie. I also think that the music composition was all over the place. The movie, I think it was a Lana Del Rey song too, or some other song that, came at the wrong time. I was like, "Who put this song in here? This makes no sense." Like, this is not telling the story that is happening. This is telling the story that's, like, maybe later or something, but it's not happening right now. Why is this in here or earlier? I don't know. I don't even remember. Maybe I'll catch it if I watch it again. But yeah, it was like I guess it was a hard movie to watch. I don't know, but it was just like I was just very, very underwhelmed and disappointed, and I was, to be honest, 'cause I was a fan. I didn't hate Blake. I didn't have any feelings even close to as strong as I have now, and I don't hate her right now either, but it just disturbs me what she's doing, and I don't agree. I hate the actions that are being taken by her side. Um, but, it's like I was more neutral, but I did like Justin. I, like, supported him. I wasn't even a fan, but it was like, "Oh, I know of him," and I watch his, like, healthy masculinity stuff from time to time, and I look at his Instagram if it pops up on my feed, like, "Oh, what's, new with him?" and whatever. So that kind of fan. But I was like but I knew that there was, I think, a thing with whose cut it was or something. I was like or no, I think it was before because I was like, like, if Justin actually directed this and is responsible for this edit and this, creative vision of this movie, I don't really wanna say anything because I feel bad because I really like him, and I don't wanna criticize, but when I saw the movie, I was like, "This is so crap." This is well, not so crap. It had good parts to it, and there was an idea that I really enjoyed of how, like, they didn't show what was actually happening. It all looked like accidents or, like, you didn't even know what wait, I was supposed to see something? Like, the oven thing, I totally missed that. I was like, "Wait, that was something? I what?" So, I think they could have done some things that were a little better, but, yeah, like, I love that, and I love the idea of showing how and I also think Blake didn't do well in acting the first part out of the movie because she was, like, suspicious, like, because I feel like in that case, from what I hear from a lot of survivors and, my not even close experience, but my experience with people that are, like, kind of, like, charming you and, but really end up doing some nasty things. I never had anyone get violent with me, thankfully. But I've had even friends do some manipulative things, and you don't see it. You might have, like, a tiny little thought in the back of your mind or a gut feeling, but it's not even a gut like, it's not strong enough. And I think the idea was there from script-wise and editing and stuff, but she wasn't acting that well with that. She was, like, always a little too present. She wasn't nuanced enough, I would say, and that's my critique or whatever, not based in this. Maybe I'll watch it and I'll, like, talk about that, but I'll let, like, actual survivors of DV and other people kind of comment on, what they got wrong and what they got right and all that stuff. But yeah, it wasn't a, what, 300 million movie at the box office, and that's the thing too, like, why is she doing this? Because they got so much more money, I think, than they would have otherwise. All the controversy definitely made them more money and made them more known. It's like, "Ooh, why is the main actor and director apart from the cast?" It could have been even as simple they could have agreed to say, "Well, because he's the director too, and we'll leave him be primarily that." Could have been that way. We know now too much to know that to be a possibility that they would have, thought of that, but, like, they got a lot of popularity because of this, and it's like, when is it enough? Like, I don't feel like it's him. I don't see anything from what they did, even if they did a smear campaign like Blake alleges, like, I it nothing's on this scale of this, legal battle. Yeah, and they're not getting I don't think people are watching the movie more because of this, maybe a little bit. They're just watching, content creators and news and read articles and whatever, so they're not getting the money. Um, yeah, what a shame. Yeah, why did she go why didn't she go to SAG? I think you mean, yeah. I don't get that either, um, right? I mean, and if you're worried about retaliation, again, like, if you're worried about retaliation or if you're feeling unsafe from a person, why would you put them in a newspaper? Like, put, like, "This is what this person did," so they can come after you more? Like, what? No, they're just they're not thinking. Um, I can't see the movie now. Oh, the skit. Oh, okay, sorry. I misread that. Couldn't watch the whole skit. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't either. I didn't even watch, like, more than, like, a second maybe or whatever. Like, it was always mentioned or in the background of a video or something, of a news video, when I saw it, and I recently watched it just for because 'cause we're getting in deep into this, and I was curious something made me curious to watch it all, and, I think I tuned out. I didn't see Hugh Jackman's part because I was like, "Okay, by now, like, I get it." And I was yeah, it made me so uncomfortable, and also just I didn't get it. Like, I got what was going on, but I didn't get the point of that. Like, I didn't understand, was it funny? It wasn't even, like, like, it's just awkward. It didn't make too much sense. Um, oh, you read the book? Yeah, maybe it's better not to watch it, especially maybe watch it later. I don't know, because some people did like the book. People didn't like the movie, I mean, people had issues with the book as well, so, um, you know, but I would say that if you watch the movie now, you probably are going to see it with the lens of all that we're talking about, and it's not going to be a good experience. You're not going to be able to remove these actors, and you might never again be able to remove all this drama from the movie, watching the movie, but, in a few years, you might. So, um, yeah. That's another thing we're all kind of waiting for, or a lot of us are waiting for, is his cut of the movie. Would have made more. I would say, I would say that the movie, what it would make, her being in it already automatically would have made more than his previous movies, because she's huge. She's a huge name, regardless if it's like, she can't act or what, she's a huge name. So the movie itself would have made a decent amount of money, more than his previous projects, because even though I hear they're really good and I have to still watch them, but um it's hard for me lately in the past few years to watch meaningful movies. I watch like Housewives of New York, Housewives of Beverly Hills, although Potomac, although it's starting to be grinding on my brain right now. Um and like basically reality TV. I used to watch Towie and Made in Chelsea from the England, 90 Day Fiance universe. I keep saying no more. And then the season starts, and then it's like, oh, you get curious. So I watch this, I watch HGTV. I basically, it's hard for me to sit, but I hear that his movies are really good. Cloud and 5 Feet Apart. I think he did a few others, or one other at least. And I think it would have been better. We don't know. But if people talk so highly about those, I feel like he does his research. I mean, he even spoke someone, this is hearsay too. Someone said that he like wrote in a journal as Ryle. Like he did his research. He really got into it. I think Bohemian Diva said that, maybe. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's just like sensitive topics. It's just sad stuff for me, so I kind of stay away from it. And this one, this I don't know, because you're saying that it was like a rom-com. Um, like It Ends With Us was a rom-com. I would say that it had an identity crisis. That's how I would describe this movie. Yeah. I yeah. I w- it, I feel like it was a little. A rom-com has like a good feel at the end. It has like good feel in during. I don't, because there was DV, there were some scenes, so it was more like a Lifetime movie maybe. It's like it wants to be a rom-com, but it just like goes into like very dark places. That's maybe kind of what it was. An identity crisis. Yeah, I don't know, though. I think you're laughing at that. um But yeah, they should make that category. Oh, My Last Days, but that was a series. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like he did just these 3 movies so far as the director. Oh boy. All right. Well, on that note, it's 10:15 over here on the eastern side of the US, so I'm going to end this. Thank you guys again for joining and for participating. I love yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Maybe I sound too cheesy. Everyone kind of gets on his case. Like, I know Donna keeps saying, like, actors are weird. I'm like, what's weird about that? Like, I think that's like so, you know, I don't know. When I hear Dustin, I'm like, oh, this guy did work on himself. He like grew up. He, got past like just the basic humanness, and yeah, but yeah, I feel like I'm like too cheesy now. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Have a great night, and I hope, yeah, hopefully Angela is okay and will feel better, and stay safe, stay, what's the word? Healthy as best as you can. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.